Hello everyone, welcome to ranking the F1 races thus far in the 2024 season. As you can see on the screen, we've got all the F1 races. The ones that haven't happened are on the bottom, the ones that have happened are along the top, and we're going to be taking you through which has been the best races so far from E to S in this tier list. Not necessarily based off our preferences for the track, but how good the races were this season. So, I mean, without further ado, let's just jump straight in. By the way, subscribe to the channel for more F1 content, like the video, comment down below, give us your lists, and let's do this. Bahrain, Jack.
Bahrain, for this year, it's not great, mid of the table. It's alright, I'm putting it in C.
Yeah, I agree. I think Bahrain, at the time in comparison to last season, Bahrain was
good. It
was alright. It was probably one of the better ones because we had a midfield battle of Charles, George, Carlos, etc.
Yeah.
Max was still down the road, but in comparison to this season, I don't think it's anywhere near the top.
Not
it's almost a D, really.
These later races, no. No.
Saudi Arabia.
Again, it was all right, quite spread out. There wasn't really much going on. We had the lower formula. Seemed quite interesting with Magnussen and everything, didn't it?
Yeah, that was good.
That was good, but other than that, as a race, a bit dead.
Yeah, it was a bit dead. Max was down the road.
Yeah.
Perez was down the road.
Charles was down the road.
Behrman was interesting to watch.
Yeah, but it's D.
Yeah, it's probably D. It's almost E, really. In
comparison to the rest of the season, yeah.
Yeah, and the only interesting thing, as you mentioned, was probably Magnussen holding everyone up so Hulkenberg could score points. What else happened? Albon made a few good overtakes. That was about all I can really remember from Saudi.
Yeah, not much.
The Australian Grand Prix. Now, this is where we got our first glimpses of potentially something interesting happening this season. Because even though Max did retire with a failure, it did look like the Ferraris potentially had the pace to win. Yeah, they did.
And they did win, but obviously they would have had the pace to win if Max was still there.
Which is really annoying because that probably would have made this one of the best races of the season.
Yeah, but in terms of it just wasn't because nothing went on. The Ferraris were away, then it was the McLarens, the Mercedes were nowhere.
Yep.
You had Fernando in and
amongst. Yeah.
Again, it was a pretty dull race, all considered.
Yeah.
It was nice at the time because we didn't have Max winning.
Yeah, that's about the only reason why it was.
If we are being critical, is it as good as Bahrain?
No, I'd say it's probably high D, really.
It's in the middle of Bahrain and Saudi for me.
Yeah, it's either low C or high D, really.
Yeah.
I mean, at the time, as you mentioned, because Max didn't win, this seemed like one of the greatest races ever.
Yeah.
But there wasn't really any fighting. We were gassed off the fact that Max wasn't in first.
Yeah, and on reflection.
Yeah.
Put it above Saudi and D, I'd say.
Yeah, I think probably. I mean, it wasn't that great of a race, really, was it?
No.
Definitely above Saudi.
It is above Saudi.
Anything Max not winning is above Saudi. Fourth was Japan.
Japan. Now, this is when we went back to Red Bull dominance again.
Yeah, we did. We thought it's too good to be true. Australia, it's too good to be true.
Yeah. You had Perez on pace with Max.
Which was something.
Yeah. I mean, we had a small battle, I would say, with Fernando, Oscar.
The Mercedes were battling as well.
Yeah.
They had a bit of a tussle. I mean, I think it was probably on the level of Bahrain. I don't think anything else really happened. It's probably below Bahrain in C.
I would say it's below Bahrain, but it's better than Saudi and Australia.
Yeah. Round 5 was China. Now the sprint race here was pretty good.
It was, I mean, obviously you had Lewis leading.
Yeah.
You had Lando coming through in the race as well, on pace. I'm trying to think how the race went.
Well, the race, it's such a long time ago now, isn't it?
It is.
Lando coming through, Max obviously still out front.
You had Lewis coming through in the race.
Yeah, he did. Lewis coming through as well. Pretty decent to finish 9th, all things considered.
The sprint race at the end, the battle with Fernando and Carlos coming together.
That was quite fun.
That was really fun.
I think it was overall
We had a few moments.
Yeah.
Actually, reflecting upon that. I'm going to put it C again, but above Bahrain.
You reckon? I think it's a low B. I don't think it's quite on the level. Okay, no, looking at the races we've got coming up,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
it's a high C.
yeah.
High C. Miami.
With a sprint race, Magnussen things.
Magnussen did things.
That
man.
was the best Miami race we've had.
It is. We had Ricardo doing bits as well.
And we were very critical of Miami at the start of the season.
We were very, very critical.
But it was a very good race.
It was.
For Miami.
Yes.
Not as a thing.
Was it better than China? I mean, we had Lando winning his first race.
We had Lewis on pace with Perez.
Yeah.
We had quite a close top 6, actually.
The only thing I will say is this suffers from the Australia effect a little bit.
Yeah.
Where, on reflection, was it really a great race? Not really. Without the safety car and without Max's floor damage, Lando doesn't win that race.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a case of, has other effects sort of twisted our perception of the race? I mean, once Lando was out front, he wasn't being challenged. Max, when he was out front, probably wouldn't have been challenged if the race had continued as it was.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think, is it better than China?
No.
I don't think so. I mean, Logan crashed to make it interesting.
It's better than Bahrain.
I'd put it maybe below China, above Bahrain. Maybe
that's really good for Miami as well.
Yeah, Miami's usually a stinker.
Yeah. Speaking of stinkers.
Speaking of stinkers,
do you not remember Imola?
Imola was...
It was dull.
Yeah, but the last 10 laps were better than anything we've seen the whole season.
Yeah, but
Max was actually challenged.
Yeah, but was he? No. Lando just closed the gap. There was never a moment of danger for Max, really.
I remember the Imola was good.
All I remember is us getting bored during the live stream for the whole race.
Yeah, it was boring up until the last 10 laps, but to be fair, the last 10 laps can make or break a Grand Prix. And this race, even though nothing really happened, I remember that is one of the most memorable moments this season, because I remember this is where it kind of clicked for us, in terms of, Max might not be winning everything.
As in setting up a season, as a setup of the rest of the season, that's where it all kicked off. Correct.
Yeah, the tension that I felt the last 10 laps.
Yeah,
when Lando was closing.
But again, nothing happened though. That's the thing.
No, yeah, you are right.
Absolutely nothing. And if you watch back our live stream, it's pretty much 2 hours of us moaning of how dead it is.
Probably. We do that a lot.
but it was dead. It was a dead race.
Yeah.
Like, in terms of, like, you had nothing going on. Unless someone had, like, 5-lap fresher tyres.
Yeah.
In which, then the overtakes weren't even, like, really overtakes, because they were passed before the bloody corner.
Yeah, that's true. So, I mean, with that logic...
It's worse than Australia.
Yeah, we'll put it there.
Is it worse than Saudi? No,
probably.
I'm putting it in
probably.
E. I'm putting it in E.
I don't think it's quite E.
Looking at the rest of the races, it is E.
No, you are right. Okay, then. Let's do it. Monaco.
E.
Yeah.
It's always an E.
Yeah, it wasn't a great race. Everyone, this is once again suffering from the Miami-Australia effect. Max didn't win. Oh my god, it's really good. Did anything happen? No. The only thing I can really remember is Max complaining, Mercedes fucking up the strategy because they didn't think to hold Max up and then do the undercut with one of the other cars, which was completely absurd. I don't know why they didn't think to do that.
Didn't the starting order was the same as the finishing order?
For like the top 10, I think it was.
Yeah. There you go.
That's all you need to know, innit?
Yeah, we're done there.
Canada. Now this was
there we go. Now we're interested.
This was a good race. This was a very good race.
It was actually. There was quite a lot of overtakes. The weather,
yeah.
That helped it.
It did help it.
I'm not quite putting it in S.
I mean, looking at the races we've had, I think it goes in S.
I'm not quite there.
I think it does go in S. I think it does, looking at the races we've got. I mean, as an F1 race, probably not. You've had better races. But looking at the races we've had...
So far this season.
Yeah, I think it is an S. Okay. I think it is one of the best of the season.
Yeah.
I think it definitely... It was a banger when it happened. And yeah, Max still won. But, like, he fought for it.
Yeah,
he fought
there
hard
was a fight for the win.
And
at one point, he was third.
Yeah, exactly. And Spain, I think, is the same. he was, closely challenged by Lando the whole time.
He was. I mean, you had the Lando George sort of battle, Lewis in there.
Yep.
It's not Canada level.
No, definitely not. And you had Oscar trying to fight his way from his poor qualifying.
Coming through. You had Gasly holding his position.
Yeah, doing very well
Perez
there.
trying to come through.
For a Spanish Grand Prix,
For Spain,
it was pretty good.
Again, for Miami, it was good. For Spain, it was good.
I mean, I think it's probably a B, really, for me.
I'm putting
Spain.
it B.
I think it was a decent race. It was a decent race, yeah. Austria. This was a good race.
Good race. Well,
this was a very good race.
It was a good race. Do you think that it became a very good race because of the moment?
Yes and no.
If that moment hadn't happened, this wouldn't be as high as I think that you want to put it.
No, but you could say that about anything.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Well, what's your point then?
I'm just saying. Other than that, as a race, as a whole race.
Well, the thing is, moments make races.
As a whole race, it's a Spain. With that moment now, it's kind of a Canada.
I don't know, because I think the whole race was entertaining anyway.
It was kind of line astern.
Yeah, but you had Hulkenberg, you had Magnussen up there, Perez trying to chase him down at the end.
My favourite moment was fucking Ocon.
Yeah, you had Ocon, and you had, obviously, the Lando and Max battle, which, even if they didn't clash, that's a very good battle. That's the
penalties.
First time, apart from maybe Canada, we've had a battle for the lead in normal conditions. So...
It's below Canada.
It's below Canada. I think the crash solidifies it as an A for me.
Well, that's what I was getting at.
But
if there wasn't a crash, it would be a B, I think.
I think if George won legitimately and was close, then it's an S.
Yeah, but he wasn't.
So, Great Britain.
S.
This is an S race. This was really good.
And that's not British bias.
No, it's not. This was the best race of the season.
Yeah, I mean, you had the weather, you had Lando leading, Lewis leading, George leading,
Max
Oscar
chasing
fighting, Max chasing, but also losing out time as well. You had Carlos was thereabouts at the start of it to try and pick something up if in case something happened in that wet.
Yeah.
Midfield was quite entertaining.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
No, it was good. And what was interesting about this is that I think this was the first race this season where we saw it was
close between three
everything
teams.
Was up in the air. We've seen earlier in the season, okay, maybe the Mercedes, Ferrari, McLarens are battling, but Red Bull are down the road. Oh, there's a battle for the lead, but there's not really much going on behind. This was the race where
everything.
There was a change in lead. It was Lewis, it was George, it was Lando. Oscar could have led at one point if McLaren fucked the strategy. Carlos looked racy at the start. Ferrari looked like they could win the race at one point with the pace, with the weather conditions. It was a great race.
It was a really good race.
Hungary. This was another good race. It was
a good race.
Recently, we've had banger after banger, haven't we?
It's not quite on the level of Britain, Canada. Obviously, you had Max and Lewis coming together.
Yeah.
That was good. Lewis defending, Max attacking. You obviously had your McLaren mess up.
Yep.
Ferrari on pace there. Charles Pippin, Max after that collection.
Yeah.
Perez and George coming through.
That was entertaining.
You had the strategy game.
The strategy game was big here.
Everyone.
The strategy was big here, especially with some of the midfield teams getting screwed over. Or Yuki did an amazing strategy as well.
I want to put it above Austria.
Yeah, I think it was a very entertaining race. No, I'm going to put it below Austria actually. I'll tell you why. Because in Austria there was a challenge for the lead. The McLarens looked gone, but luckily for them, there was a battle between them. Unlike where it's, but they didn't look like they were being challenged. Yeah. Unlike where in Austria it was Red Bull versus McLaren. That's the only thing that keeps it below Austria. But then again, the strategy was good. It was really easy to overtake apparently somehow. Yeah. Well, not really easy, but easier than
what it used to be.
Than what we've seen before in Hungary. But yeah. Belgium.
That
was also this, by the way, for pure racing in dry conditions, is the best race of the season. Now,
in terms of having the top 8 where they were as well, all together.
I mean, we've seen Perez go from 2nd to 8th. You saw Charles come through, Oscar chasing the Mercedes at the end.
Carlos's separate strategy.
George's strategy. Max
Lewis
coming through.
Lewis's control.
Yeah, it had everything. It was very, very entertaining, this race.
Yeah, but outside of the top 8, was there much going on? Because we were all just focused in on that top 8.
Yeah, we were. I can't really remember anything from the other
Exactly. So
10 drivers.
does
12
that
drivers
put a dampener on it a bit?
No, I think if it's good at the front, that's where it really matters. Because we've based all of the criteria on all the other races on
the front lot.
The front lot, which is where you want the fight to be. I think it's S, but it's not above Britain. It's like there.
Now, if there was rain in there,
oh yeah, above Britain,
that would have spiced it up.
And it almost did.
But as a full-on dry race,
it's a very good race.
Very good.
And I think that's our list done.
That is for mid-season list.
I wonder what will come of the other races. Just quickly before we end this, out of the ones we've got left, which do you think will be the banger race? Potentially another S race.
Another S race.
Yeah. Out of these that we've got left,
Brazil.
You think Brazil? I'm gonna say Zandvoort, the race we come back on.
Well, no, I think you've got potentials from Zandvoort, Brazil, Texas.
Texas could be good. I even think Singapore could throw up a.
I don't think Singapore will. I think it could
Well, last year was a good
it'll
race.
throw up something, but I don't think it'll be potential S.
We'll see, won't we? Anyway,
Vegas. Vegas was good.
Vegas was good. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see, won't we? We've got a few nice races to come. I mean, Italy might be all right. Monza.
They're
Baku.
all looking good.
They're all looking good, to be fair. The only one I'm really not looking forward to is Abu. That's usually a stinky. But, oh well. Thank you very much for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, and we'll see you next time.